course of the semester, we're going to be using different recorders. This is the Zoom H1. I will give you a quick start guide that you can download with these instructions as well, but quickly I'm going to go through some of the general practices to get it set up to record correctly. So in order to turn it on, there's the on switch on the side. First time you turn it on, however, right next to that is a little garbage can icon for the trash. So when you first turn it on, since we are signing out shared equipment, you're going to hold the garbage can icon while you hold the power button in the on position for a couple of seconds. And that will put it in format mode to wipe the card. You'll see it says format, press record, you press record, and it will format the card, wiping out anything that anybody else had done on there, because typically people just use it and leave their old stuff on there. The next thing that you're going to want to do is confirm that the date and time is set correctly, because there's really no way to name your files. So the best way to get back and make sure that you're getting to the files you recorded or keep track of your files is by date and time. So in order to do that, you're going to hold the record button when you start up, and then the power button again. It says hello, and then it takes you to the date. Using the fast forward and rewind buttons on the side, you're going to set your month, then you push the play button to move over to day, you set your day, move over to year, use the fast forward rewind to set that. Then you go down to hours. It's military time to set the time, so 1 o'clock would be 13, 2 o'clock would be 14, so that's in PM. This goes into that side. And then you just keep hitting the play pause button until you get to the end of the line. Then it will prompt you with card access. It's essentially writing the date, and then your recorder is configured. The next thing you're going to want to check is the dip switches on the back of the unit. There are 3 kind of like quick controls for your low cut filter, your automatic level, and your record format. Low cut filter will cut out bass frequencies. This is useful if you are outside in the wind. You would get low end rumble. It can also help cut down on some of the handling noise just as you use the mic. You can also cut down on P-pops if you are very close to the microphone. So I recommend that you do a little bit of experimentation. Bring with you into the field a pair of closed field headphones with a small 1/8 inch plug so that you can record a sample of yourself and then plug it in and play it back so you can hear it. The units themselves do not have a speaker in them, so you will not be able to hear back what you have recorded if you don't bring a pair of headphones with you into the field. So all good audio engineers should do a test recording, so I suggest you do a test with the low cut on or off, doing your subject matter, and then see if you are happy with the results. Audio level, you should, as a professional audio engineer, always turn off any auto level. That's going to try to interpret what your program is like, and it's going to adjust your program on the fly. That is generally going to give you very artificial and problematic audio to mix. But if you truly don't know what you're walking into, auto level allows you to record something that is generally free of extended periods of distortion if it ended up being much louder than you expected it to be. So use that wisely. I recommend that you don't use it in any kind of controlled situation. And then finally, record format, WAV or MP3. WAV files are much larger, so you will get less space on your card, but even on WAV, I have like 7 hours of space on this card. So WAV is a lossless format. WAV is also will consume less battery than MP3. Because MP3 is a lossy format, it will throw away some of your information, which will give you more recording space, but it is also more processor intensive. It has to crunch more numbers, so consequently your unit will mow through the battery more quickly. Incidentally, when the low cut filter is on, not only will it be on the switch on the back, but you will also see a little roll-off icon just underneath your battery here on the front. You're going to want to adjust your input levels. When you are set to auto, the input level, pushing the input level buttons will just indicate auto here on the screen, letting you know that that has no effect on your levels. When you put that back to auto level off, now your input levels go up and down, up from a range of 100 down to 0. And what you're going to want to aspire for is at your program level, you're going to adjust your level to be somewhere between -20 and -12 dB on your scale. And that depends largely on how unpredictable your content is. If you have generally consistent levels, like someone speaking in a controlled environment, then you could probably tend a little bit closer towards -12, because you don't expect any unexpected peaks that would put you over and distort. But if you are in a more dynamic situation where somebody could speak loudly or something unexpected could happen, then you afford yourself a wider margin for error, and you go with a slightly lower record level. And the idea being, you want to maximize your signal level. You want to go as loud as you can without going over. So you're trying to kind of get ahead of yourself and make your best possible guess. So usually somewhere between -20 on the low side, -12 on the higher side is usually somewhere in the range that you want to do. Your output level is on the opposite side, and that feeds the output to your headphones. And as with all good audio engineers, you should always be monitoring, actually listening to what you are recording, because good audio doesn't look good, good audio sounds good. So your ears are always the final judge. So as mentioned, we had the MP3 wave selector on the back. We're going to use wave. You also have the options for what kind of sample rate and bit rate do we use. So you're going to be advised of what record rate to use when I give you an assignment. 48 kilohertz is generally when you're recording audio that will be lined up with video after the fact, or a multiple thereof. 96K would be doubling that, obviously. 16-bit, 24-bit, these give you extended dynamic range. So a higher bit rate will allow you to record at a lower rate or at a lower level with less digital noise without digital distortion at the bottom end. So a wider volume range is available to you if you go to 24-bit, but your files will get larger. Most of the time, 44 kilohertz, 16-bit will be adequate for most of what we're recording as for demonstration purposes, academic purposes in this class. 44 kilohertz, 16-bit is the same quality as an audio CD. Once you've configured your machine, then it's simply a matter of hitting the record button and starting to record. You have two microphones. They are directional microphones, so you will notice a considerable difference from speaking into the unit when one of the capsules is pointing at you, as opposed to when you are talking into the unit off axis, or opposed to talking into it on the other side. So I recommend that you actually experiment with that a little bit, see what on axis, off axis is like. You can use this effectively in an interview to actually hold this between yourself and another individual so that you could talk and interview this person and then they could answer, and you get some isolation between the left and right. So you actually, in effect, create a two-channel mix where you are louder over your guest, and you can actually do a little bit of mixing in post-production. That can be very useful. The other thing to bear in mind is the kit that comes with your recorder has accessories in it that are very useful to you in improving the quality. The first of which being the windscreen and pop filter. This just snugs over the top. It will help you eliminate pee pops when you talk in. The wind coming off of your mouth hitting the diaphragm of the microphone puts it into overdrive, and it causes an unnatural sound. So if you're going to be conducting interviews this style, make sure you use the pop filter. This is also helpful in reducing wind noise when you're outside. The other item that's in there is a handle for the microphone. Using the handle helps to cut down on some of the handling noise. However, you will find that these units have been out and about in the field, and they have seen a little bit of abuse. And in the case of this particular one, in unit number 6, the threads are stripped out on this, so this is not doing you any good. But there's enough thread left that we do have the ability to use the little tripod. So this tripod is handy when you're conducting interviews. You can set the unit on a table, and then in that way you don't have the handling noise of somebody touching it, and it maintains a consistent distance from whoever it is that's speaking. So also something definitely you want to use when you are out and about. So take advantage of the accessories that you've got.